I know you could be doing a lot of things, so thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And you're going to like this one because I always love talking with offensive linemen or offensive line coaches because having played the position, I just feel like it's one big fraternity. And Frank Pollack knows his stuff. He's the Bengals offensive line coach. He's the guest in this podcast. And with 3 starters going down in 3 weeks, it's unbelievable. I mean, the football gods have been so cruel. It's amazing. 15 games. The offensive line played every snap together. Everybody, all 5 of them. They were getting some serious unity. There was a bond there. There was rhythm. There was timing. Now, 3 different guys are starting in different spots in 3 consecutive weeks. The continuity is being challenged. If there's anybody that can overcome that and handle that adversity, it's Frank Pollack as an offensive line coach and the players that they have in the locker room to jump out and not just fill in, play like a starter. That's what it's all about. That's what Frank Pollack's going to get. You're going to like what he has to say. I admire your intelligence for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics here in our outstanding studios, because we have a guest that is as good as there is at his job in all of football. And he does it at the highest level of football. He is the offensive line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. He is Frank Pollack, great player by his own right in the National Football League for 9 seasons. And now he's imparting that knowledge to his young linemen in the National Football League. Welcome, Coach. And thanks for giving us some time, because I know it's busy down there. You're in the tournament, one and done, and survive and advance. And you survived and you're advancing, man.
It's the name of the game. Survive and move on.
So what's it like when you play a team back to back, like you had to do the last regular season game, and in the wild card round of the playoffs, playing the Baltimore Ravens? I mean, in talking to you and others, everybody felt like, oh man, this is going to be, they know us, we know them. They're going to muck it up. We're going to muck it. It's going to be one of those kind of games. Not going to be a beautiful thing. And it wasn't. But that's the AFC North. I mean, playing in the AFC North, you are battle tested, right?
No question. We've been fortunate that way, not only from a division, but just the other teams we've played outside of our division to be battle tested. And we've had some big road games as well, which has, I think, prepared us for where we're at now and the opportunities moving ahead. And then, it's a unique challenge to, like you mentioned, to play the same team, especially a divisional opponent, back-to-back weeks. They know you inside and out. They damn near know all your calls. They listen to the recordings on the sideline. They got a nice library and decipher what words mean. So it's a different element that you got to deal with, and the meaning survive and move on is definitely holds true for that.
I didn't even really think about that, because back in the ancient days when I played, there wasn't all this equipment and advancements technologically and all that sort of thing.
Right.
You're right, man. I mean, it's almost like there are bugs everywhere. I mean, there's no privacy anywhere, right? It's crazy.
No, every game, the center or a guard, one of the two is mic'd up for TV.
Right.
Every game, you don't get a choice. So opposing defenses are smart. They're going to listen to those recordings or the from the game and pick up every word the quarterback says and any line calls and start building a library, especially your division opponent, and start deciphering what these words mean. And, it's huge in this game, in this profession, because the margin for error is so thin, the parity, not only with teams and schemes, but also the talent level individually is so tight that any edge you could get, and if you know what they're going to do and you can anticipate what they're going to do, it just allows you to play faster. And if you play faster, you're a much better player.
So, Coach, the Baltimore Ravens, they are unique schematically offensively and defensively. They really are. I mean, they're a different breed of cat to prepare for, and they're really good with their interior defensive line, their edge guys. They get two really good linebackers. I mean, it's a formidable front seven. But I look at Buffalo, I see the same thing. I see Oliver, I see Rousseau, I see two really good inside backers. I mean, gosh, man, how similar, how different are these defenses? Personnel, I mean, they've got both teams have really good players, but the way they approach it schematically, is there any similarity, or are there more differences than similarities?
I would say they're a little bit of both. I mean, from a front spacing and structure, there's a lot of similarity, but as far as how their coverage ties into some of their run fits from both the linebackers and secondary, maybe a little bit different than exactly the same. And there's some carryover in that regards. Like a lot of teams play similar coverages, but they have some other things that Buffalo does that's unique, that's different than how some other teams play on the back end, and how that plays out in the run game and the run fits and what shows up in the box that way. So.
Yeah, Leslie Frazier. I mean, when I watch that defensive football team, and it looks like they're attached by a string. I mean, they move almost like the June Taylor dancers. You know, it's all choreographed, and nobody gets out of their gap. Nobody's like, I'm gonna harvest your crop over here. No, man. Everybody stays and harvests their own crop. You know, everybody's where they're supposed to be. Are they very disciplined that way? Does it
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They're very disciplined. They're very sound. They're not going to be short a hat and a gap, and they've got the players, especially at that linebacker spots, that can run and be physical and fill those holes where they need to, and they're pretty impressive that way. And then they've got a good front where they have some movement, some speed, especially at the Oliver spot. He's very quick.
yeah.
A lot like that cat out at LA, the Donald, similar build, similar type quickness and suddenness in his game. They're pretty stout at the other position with the Jones guy, and then the long and lanky on the edge, kind of similar to what Baltimore had on the edge in that regards. They're pretty similar, but they're well coached. They have a good talent on their defense, and it's what you expect this time of year, especially.
So, Coach, you played him for about 7 minutes of football on the Monday night game, and then the tragedy took place, and
right.
didn't play any more football. But you prepared for him that whole week, and you did get. I mean, you went down the field in that first offensive drive, 5 plays, 75 yards, boom, boom, boom. I mean, gashing them, and you only faced 1 third down. It was 3rd and 6 inches or something, and 3 first downs on that drive. 29-yard interference, a 20-yard completion, a 14-yard touchdown in the red zone on first down to Tyler Boyd. I mean, it was like, holy mackerel. Right. They come back and, they're moving, but the defense stiffens up and holds them to 3 in the red zone. And you get the ball, and here you go again inside the 50-yard line, and then tragedy hits. Is there confidence generated from, the first couple of times you had the football against them on Monday night, or is there no carryover there? What's that like, Coach?
I mean, I think our players are confident regardless. I mean,
Yeah.
we're here for a reason, but having had some initial success with that short game, obviously will give you a little bit of confidence, but at the same time, that was a couple weeks ago. It's a whole new game. We got to start it over. None of that really means anything. We got to go out there and earn everything on Sunday. I mean, I think our team always has confidence, but we're not overconfident. We understand that we got a tough test going into Buffalo. It's a hard place to play. It's a fun place to play. It's storied NFL. I've been telling some of the young guys, savor this. This is fun. This is what you want to play in the league for, is be able to go experience these things. But like I said, they're a good defense. They're well coached, and that's a tough place to play. So it's the success we had for 7, 8, 9 plays where we had that last deal. Really, at the end of the day, is irrelevant. I mean,
right.
So,
Coach, you've been around the game a long time. Have you ever experienced a scenario where your offensive line plays 15 games every snap together, and then boom, 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 the football gods say, that's enough. That's enough. We're going to take somebody from you in 3 consecutive games. Now, obviously the Buffalo game Monday night was only 7 minutes, so I'm not counting that game. When you played 3 full games, you lose a starting offensive lineman. in each of them. Have you ever experienced anything like that before?
Nothing comes to the top of my head. I can't
Yeah.
recall anything like that from playing and coaching. It is what it is. It's it's a violent game, and those unfortunately happen. It's next man up. We got to adjust. It's teams deal with it all year. Ours just happened to come late in the year and postseason. So it's can't cry over spilt milk. No one gives a damn anyway. So don't worry about it. Move on and let's go.
There you
That's
go.
the nature of the league.
Yeah, there you go. And I remember Cappa in the locker room after the game coming up to his teammates and with a smile on his face, he's like, "Hey guys, that's football. We know that. We know that's football. What are you going to do?" Like you said, you're gonna lay down and assume the fetal position, or you're gonna do something about it and do the best you can and fight. And you got a group that's got a lot of pride, man, and they're tight. I love being around your offensive linemen. It's a tight group, and Karras has been very complimentary to Cappa with respect to how he has helped with ID communication, and not just the physical level that he was playing at, but the mental level he was playing at as well. And, Ted's like, I'm going to miss that as much as having that big old horse next to me physically. He was my confidant. That's my dude. I'm like, checking things with him. And that's an important thing. And, not having that, you have to make an adjustment. But what is the toughest adjustment, Coach, when you plug in another guy and you brought him here for a reason?
Right.
Scharping's a big dude, man. When
Right.
he stands in the doorway, there's not a whole lot of sun coming around him. He blocks a lot of it out there, 6'6", 3 1/4 plus, and good athlete too, man. He moves around. But how tough is that? And then to lose others as well. Does it affect when you game plan? It's like, oh man, do we have to pare this down? Can we do this? Can we do that? Or do you feel like, I got my guys, I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to roll?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna take in consideration who you got playing and what's their strengths and weaknesses as far as what you want to run.
Yeah.
But the guys have been preparing all year, have been practicing all year, so it's not like we can't do the things we've been doing.
Yep.
So that's good. Max has played football. He's a smart player. Obviously, we're always going to miss Cappa. We're going to miss Jonah, LC. We wish we had those guys, but the guys stepping in are smart, aware football players. I mean, the biggest adjustment is just getting comfortable with the guy that they're playing next to. So the big thing is over communicating. Make sure you guys are echoing calls where, for whatever, how many weeks, like to use your example, Cappa and Karras might not need to have the extent of communication to confirm that we're on the same page as maybe, now we might need, so just echo calls, communicating, make sure we're all on the same page is paramount. And, it's been good that you got practice to go through all that, script all that variety of stuff for us to walk through things helps. And then every opportunity for us to force those guys to get on the same page, talk, communicate. Like I encourage guys to talk as we watch film in our meetings. So they're constantly talking about those issues, knowing that there's kind of stealing reps that way. So it's just kind of part of the process. Fully confident in the guys we got. They're here for a reason, like you said, and they'll be able to step in and then keep it rolling.
And obviously the other fly in the ointment as such, or the other challenge, is you're on the road with Bill's Mafia. You're not quiet. It's going to be not be able to hear yourself think. So it's one thing to communicate when you're at home, horse of a different color, and different methodology of communication when you're on the road. There's silent snap counts, for example, that guys are going to have to get used to each other with. And then, I remember when we played together for a while, it's just, you look at your teammate and you nod or you wink or whatever, and they know exactly what the hell you're talking about, and,
Right.
and because it's so noisy, you can't hear basically right next to each other.
Right.
But I mean, you're going to have to yell and, look and scream, make sure that the spoken word is communicated. And I was just doing a podcast a little bit ago with Chris Collinsworth, and he said, in my estimation, the unsung hero of this Cincinnati Bengal football team is Ted Karras, because now in the face of not only has he played great all year, but in the face of what's going on, he's the beacon of light. I mean, he's the guy that's going to be, okay, guys, let's make sure we get this done. Let's make sure we get it done right. And there's not a better guy to get that done right. I mean, he's almost like a coach on the field for you, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been outstanding that way. He's what a center needs to do is quarterback the line and what I call run your group, and he's outstanding at it. He's natural communicator and a natural leader, and he's a quick and fast processor. So when things change, he knows what we're doing formationally or motion wise to anticipate those. He understands that part of the offense.
Yep.
Not just his blocking assignment. He understands the big picture and all those adjustments that need to come with it. So he's been invaluable in that regards. So he understands that big piece and can kind of see what's around the corner before we get to around the corner to know that he needs to alert a guy on the line, a guard on either side, and get calls communicated out that way to make sure we're all on the same page to handle those.
Paul Brown was my first head coach, and he did a thing for me that changed my pro football career. I ended up making the team as a rookie. Then second year I'm starting at guard, and he goes, he said, I think you really understand football, but I want to find out for sure. He said, I'm going to give you, you're going to get graded, and because we as linemen, got graded on our assignments. He goes, but when I look at your test, I'm going to give you a grade on your assignments in the upper right-hand corner. I want you to do everybody else in the offensive line's assignments. So I'm going to give you that grade in the upper left-hand corner. I want you to see big picture, not just tunnel vision, what you're doing. I want you to understand why. If you're pulling, is the center reaching, tackle block down, fullback filling, what's going on? And then he's like, all right, as I started to get acclimated to that, he goes, okay, now I'm going to have the offensive line grades in the upper right-hand corner and every assignment offensively in the upper left-hand corner. Expand your horizon, look broader, look like you're talking about. I mean, he did that in 1975. I mean, that's how sharp Paul Brown was, and I'm like, this dude he's a genius, and I got to absorb all the football I can from this guy. But that's the thing. You guys, this football team is not only physically gifted, you got a bunch of smart guys, man. You get guys that are mentally gifted as well. You have a smart, physical football team, and man, that's hard to beat,
Yeah, smart and tough goes a long way in the O-line room, and that's kind of like line one for us when evaluating guys. You need smart, tough guys who've got the baseline as far as talent and skill set, but line one at the very top, you got to be smart and tough to play his position because there's going to be adjustments. You got to play more than one position. I mean, you only dress so many guys. You don't dress 15 guys on game day. We do a thing weekly here in my room on Saturdays. We do what I call a video quiz, and it covers all of our game plan, protections and run game, where guys got to get up, and I'll have a video clip where they got to coach that whole play, that whole concept, and coach all the positions like they're the coach, all the adjustments, everyone's calls, and it's you kind of guys are accountable to each other that way. They don't want to be the guy getting in front of the room to coach that room on that play for that quiz and then not be prepared, not know. Then you're letting your teammates down. So guys, I think they enjoy it. It gets some competitive juices flowing to see who's going to come out and win the quiz at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Tournament bracket that we have. And so it's a lot of fun to kind of summarize our game plan and make sure everyone's on the P's and Q's. It flushes out some hard hopper looks that, hey, we got to be ready for it. Makes us talk through them one more time, make sure we're all on the same page. And it's fun to see, especially some of these younger guys have to get put on the spot and see how much do they really understand and know, where they may still need to, get a little more clarification, or the ones who hit it out of the park and, do a great job in that regard. So that's just, it's part of the process. So it's pro football. So that's your job. So it's no hobby.
Let me get you out of here on this question, Coach, and it's kind of a two-part question. It's about the left side of the offensive line. Volson, who's going to make a bunch of all-rookie teams, he's a stud, and his graph's gone up all season long. he's not a rookie anymore. The dude's played a lot of football, and he and Karras are the only guys that have played next to each other, for a bunch of reps. How has he come along? And then part B of that is, how did Jackson Carman play at left tackle? And is it a situation where you're going to evaluate Isaiah Prince, Carman? I mean, you have multiple options at left tackle, but now you got a rookie with a guy that hasn't played a whole lot of snaps at the left tackle position. But like I said, the rookie's not a rookie anymore. How do you see that left side of the offensive line shaken down, and how has Volson done?
Yeah, Cordell's done a great job. In fact, I actually had a little conversation with him yesterday and said, hey, your rookie year is over, bud. You've got 16 games in your belt. You just started your second season earlier than most.
Love it.
Just happens to be back to back. So
yep.
That rookie shit is out the window. You're a second year vet now. We need you to play like one and communicate like one to your new left tackle.
Love it.
So you're done being a rookie. So, and he's got the right mindset. The kid's outstanding. He's made up of the right stuff inside and out. So he's done a fantastic job, and he's continued to push himself to get better, and he understands his role and the next step that he needs to take. And Jackson has been preparing diligently all year to make that bump out at tackle, and he's done a nice job. He's been grinding hard every week, getting ready for when an opportunity might present itself. And then, lo and behold, like we've been preaching in this room, that you're a shoestring away in the blink of an eye and you're going to be in the game. So you have got to prepare every week like you're rolling and going to be a starter, even if you get here on game day and you're inactive. Well, then you got to do it all over again next week. That's just the mental approach that you have to take. And he's done a nice job doing that. My hat's off to him. And he came in this last week and did a commendable job. And we expect nothing but good things for him. And like you mentioned, we also got a couple guys that we can roll in there as well.
Yep.
With Prince and Deontay. So
yep.
We're excited where we're at, and really fired up with what Jackson was able to do, and love where Cordell Volson's at and how he's continued to ascend.
Coach, commend you on hell of a job you've done this year. Your players responding, particularly in the face of adversity, and not just next man up, next man stepping up. And that's the big key. And having guys ready to go is big. And then for them to go out there and reward your efforts and getting them prepared is big as well. Good luck. Go to Buffalo and knock them in the lake.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
You're the man, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Lap.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.